What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. July's here, which means it's time to talk about my most anticipated movies of the month. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what movies this month you're most looking forward to seeing. As always, this is just a reminder that these will be in chronological order, not ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. But let's not waste any more time, and let's get to the list. Kicking things off is No Sudden Move, the newest film from Steven Soderbergh, about a group of criminals in 1955 who go on what they think is a small-time job, only for it to go horribly wrong and find themselves part of a potentially bigger purpose. Now, Soderbergh's films can be in one of two categories. They can either be slick, stylish genre films with a broad appeal, or they can be niche efforts that are very dialogue-heavy, minimal on action, and go against what you typically expect in a film. While mainly sticking to the latter category the last few years, this seems to be in the former category this time, as this looks to be like a snappy, fast-paced good time, mixed with thrills and a bit of a sense of humor. And you have quite a cast that includes Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, Jon Hamm, and among many others, Brendan Fraser making his return to the big screen. This seems like it'll be a great way to kick off the month, and it hits HBO Max on the 1st. The Tomorrow War focuses on time travelers from 2051 who arrive with an urgent message. 30 years in the future, mankind is losing a war against a deadly alien species, and the only hope for survival is for soldiers and civilians to be transported to the future and join the fight. Now, I'm going to admit, the trailer for this one didn't blow me away by any means. The main reason I'm excited for this, though, is that Chris McKay, who previously directed the Lego Batman movie and whose name is now attached to a number of intriguing projects coming up, is behind this. And considering I love the Lego Batman movie, I'm interested to see what he does next. On top of that, you also have a great cast that includes Chris Pratt, Yvonne Strahovski, and J.K. Simmons, among others, and I think they'll be able to take what seems like a somewhat generic-looking thriller and make it a bit more entertaining. And this hits Amazon Prime on the 2nd. Black Widow sees the title character, played once more by Scarlett Johansson, confront her dangerous past and the broken relationships she left behind before becoming an Avenger. After a year of delays, it's finally here, and I know a lot of people are really excited for this one, especially since it took way too long for Black Widow to get her own movie, after having been in the MCU since 2010. Now, for me personally, this was one of the Marvel projects I wasn't overly excited for. The trailer looked good, but it just didn't blow me away or anything. But it looks like it'll be a slick little spy thriller, and if anything, I am really excited to see how Florence Pugh will be here, as I've heard nothing but great things about her performance in particular, and considering she knocks it out of the park nearly every time, I'm sure the hype is to be believed. This hits theaters and Disney Plus with a premium fee on the 9th. Summertime takes place over the course of a hot summer day in Los Angeles, where the lives of 25 young Angelinos intersect. Now, the main reason I'm looking forward to this one is that it's directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, who you may know better as the co-director of Raya and the Last Dragon, as well as for his feature debut, Blindspotting, which is the very definition of a hidden gem, as it flew under so many people's radars, yet everyone who gets around to seeing it usually puts it up there as one of the best movies in the last few years. Now, while Blindspotting handles some pretty powerful subject matter, this seems to be incredibly laid back, and more of this day-in-the-life sort of film. While I don't see this reaching nearly the same emotional levels, nor do I think it'll be that widely seen if I had to be perfectly honest, as no one's really talking about it, I do think it'll be an easygoing little film for the summer movie season, and it has a limited theatrical release on the 9th. Gunpowder Milkshake focuses on 3 generations of women who fight back against those who could take everything from them. While this goes down as one of my favorite movie titles of the year so far, I do gotta admit that it reminds me of a number of other movies like John Wick, Kingsman, and Atomic Blonde. And I'm sure the very obvious similarities will ultimately be the biggest knock against it. But it does look like it'll be a good bit of fun, and I think the absolutely stacked cast will see to that, with the always reliable Karen Gillan and Lena Headey at the forefront. Combined with some stylish action, this should be some solid popcorn entertainment that I think we can all use right about now, and this hits Netflix on the 14th. Pig stars Nicolas Cage as a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregonian wilderness and must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she's kidnapped. Now, I am really excited for this one. It does look like a very grounded, subdued drama, which is normally not the sort of film I'd gravitate heavily towards, but I'm interested in seeing Nicolas Cage step back into this territory a bit, as it's easy to forget he's actually a very good actor, and he can handle more grounded projects like this really well. Also adding to my excitement is that Neon's distributing it, and after A24, they're one of my favorite companies for independent films. Now, I've heard a few sort of joking comparisons to John Wick, and yeah, this looks like it'll be if John Wick was reimagined as a much more grounded thriller than an off-the-wall action movie, and I'm sure it'll be a mostly restrained film with a few moments of brutal action or something to that effect, but whatever it may be, the trailer was good enough that it grabbed my attention, so I'm excited. This has a limited theatrical release on the 16th. Old is a thriller about a family on a tropical holiday who discover that the secluded beach where they're relaxing for a few hours is somehow causing them to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives into a single day. I am cautiously optimistic about this one, as it's brought to us by M. Night Shyamalan. Now, Shyamalan is one of those directors where people either really love him and think he's misunderstood, or they hate him and think he's a one-trick pony. Now, I don't quite think he's a one-trick pony, but his output's way too hit and miss for me to be too hyped up for a new film of his. It seemed like he was back on track for a while with The Visit and Split, and that got me incredibly excited for Glass, but I wound up hating that one, so I'm still very wary with him. This film, however, does have an intriguing premise and a solid cast, so I'm interested. Though, from the brief snippets we got in the trailer, it seemed like there may be some overacting going on, at least to me, so we'll see. But this hits theaters on the 23rd. The Green Knight is based on the Arthurian legend where Sir Gawain, played by Dev Patel, must embark on a quest to confront the Knight, who is a giant, tree-like creature. This is another film that suffered a year-long delay due to the pandemic and has been pretty high on people's radars. This one's being brought to us by David Lowery, director of the Pete's Dragon remake and The Old Man and the Gun, and it's being distributed by everyone's favorite independent film company, A24. Now, I'm not normally too keen on period dramas, but this looks to lean heavily into its fantasy elements, and it even seems like it'll be pretty surreal to a degree. So I think this will be something of an experience, especially since Lowery's a pretty reliable director. I'm just hoping that there's substance to back up its style, but we'll see. It's theaters on the 30th. 9 Days stars Winston Duke as Will, a being who spends his days watching people going about their lives until one subject perishes, leaving a vacancy for a new life on Earth. Soon, several candidates, all unborn souls, arrive at Will's to undergo tests determining their fitness, facing oblivion when they are deemed unsuitable. Now, I remember hearing about this one a number of times last year from people who saw it at Sundance, and the response has been nothing short of blown away. Now, thematically, it does share a lot of similarities with last year's Soul regarding unborn souls and the purpose of one's life, though this looks like it'll be a much more somber take on those themes than what the Pixar film explored. But if it's even half as thought-provoking as that was, we may really be in for a real treat. And this gets a limited theatrical release on the 30th, followed by a wide release August 6th. And finally, Stillwater stars Matt Damon as a father who travels from Oklahoma to France to help his estranged daughter, played by Abigail Breslin, who is in prison for a murder she claims she didn't commit. After a surprise venture into family comedy with last year's Disney Plus exclusive Timmy Failure, Tom McCarthy returns to familiar territory with this grounded, gritty crime drama. While the film does look like it'll hit a few cliches, with the murder that someone didn't commit trope being one of the driving forces here, I am generally very excited for just about anything Tom McCarthy does, as he's given us a number of really excellent gems in independent cinema, like The Station Agent and Win-Win. Even if this doesn't look to be quite on the same level as those films, I think this will be pretty gripping. Plus, you can almost always count on Matt Damon to turn in a great performance, and hopefully McCarthy has some tricks up his sleeve that haven't been revealed in the trailer yet. But this hits theaters on the 30th. And that's my list. And while most of what I picked here aren't blockbusters, it is worth noting that the summer movie season is pretty much in full swing, as there are other films I didn't really get into, like Jungle Cruise, Space Jam, Snake Eyes, and a few others. So things are going to be pretty packed, and I'm excited to cover as much as I can. So stay tuned reviews for all the films I listed here, and much more, coming soon. But let me know, which movies are you looking forward to in July? Was it anything I listed here? Was it something I left off? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it. And for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching, everyone, and keep having fun with film.